Hi, this is Matthew Skolch riding for Westby Racing. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe.
It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA/FIM North American Road Race Championship. MotoAmerica Superbikes at Atlanta from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. As we are setting the stage for our very first SportbikeTrackGear.com race of the season. Hi, everyone. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, the interesting thing about this class is we only have two riders that have even won races ever in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup.
Yeah, both Gus Rodeo and Cody Wyman are coming in as somewhat the preseason favorites only because of those victories we've seen them do in the past. However, there's going to be a lot of people coming after them, and you can see here, Cody Wyman last year at VIR got his inaugural win. There was a lot of speculation on what Cody was going to do this year, Greg. He ended up coming back to SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup.
And, of course, that was a big victory for the number 34. But as for Gus Rodeo, who's, well, Jay, he's a little bit younger than Cody Wyman in this class. It was this frantic race at Road America that set his win.
Yeah, he started to celebrate a little bit early, made us nervous. But Gus Rodeo, over the last couple of years, we've really seen him grow up. We've seen him have a couple injuries that he's come back from. He's going to be hard to beat this year. He's going to come in here with a lot of confidence.
Not a flash in the pan, either one of these two riders. For Cody Wyman, who finished 5th in the championship, he was out with a bit of an injury a couple races. But Gus Rodeo, 3rd in the points. You would have to say, just based on experience, that these two are probably in the top of your list for championship favorites.
Yeah, you got to remember Cody Wyman got hurt last year at Pittsburgh. But let's not forget about Kayla Yakov. She's been amazing so far in Atlanta. She will be a championship contender as well.
We're going to get race action going on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere.
Before we get back to racing, I want to remind you that Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps, welcomes you to Superbikes at Atlanta and the Mission King of the Baggers Racing. Mission Foods focuses on the highest quality, authentic flavors, and providing healthy options that families and friends can enjoy together. And since 1903, out of a small shed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 4 young men lit a cultural wildfire that would grow and spread across geographies and generations. Their innovation and imagination for what was possible on two wheels sparked a transportation revolution and lifestyle that will make Harley-Davidson the most desirable motorcycle brand in the world. Stop by the Harley display in the fan zone today. And Dunlop Motorcycles, all of these guys you see out here racing, no matter the class, they're running Dunlop tires. But you, as a consumer, you need to go check out what they have, whether it be the SportMax Q3 or the SportMax Q4, offering a little more grip. Dunlop, motorcycletires.com. Find out more. And stop by the Indian Motorcycle display today for a free demo ride in the fan area. Indian Motorcycle Company, America's first motorcycle company, founded in 01. That's 1901, that is. Indian Motorcycle won the hearts of motorcyclists around the world and earned distinction as one of America's most legendary and iconic brands through unrivaled racing dominance, engineering prowess, and countless innovations in industry first. And Yamaha, recognized leader in power sports, offering motorcycles, scooters, ATVs, you name it, personal watercraft, boats, much more. Yamaha U.S. products are sold through a nationwide network of distributors and dealers in the United States. Stop by the Yamaha display in the fan area today for a free demo ride and triumph for 120 years, the most iconic British motorcycle brand. And again, they're celebrating their 100th anniversary. Stop by the Triumph display in the fan zone area today for a free demo ride. The juniors are coming up.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Welcome back to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Here's a look at the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup grid. Levy Batty on pole, Cody Wyman and Max Van in 3rd.
Then we got Gus Rodeo and Aiden Thau with Joe Lamandry outside of him. Yakov, Bicknese, Dreyer, Rivera, Black, and Owen Williams are going to round out row 4. A little further back, Marinello. Wucheller, Separano, Medina, Bamer, and Elliott.
So here we go. Grid is set as we are expecting 11 laps in this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class. And yes, if you're learning the name Levy Batty for the first time, the Belgian is here racing for Bartcon, and he's on pole position. And our first race is underway. And Max Van with a wheel in the air. Still gets away pretty cleanly. 71. Levy Batty going to slot back into third from pole position. And these Junior Cup bikes, Jason, known to use all the racetrack.
Oh yeah, all the track, and then this is the spot. Got to go in the single file here. You can see a couple riders back there in 5th, 6th, 7th had to fall into place. So now these guys, one person's off in the grass back there, gets himself back on, but kind of got a lead group already, don't we, Greg? We see a little split there, probably from about 7th back to 8th. So these first guys up in the front, I believe, is it Cody Wyman leading?
No, I think it's Max Van actually on the 48.
Okay.
Is that what we're seeing there?
I think it's Cody. It's, you know, when you get used to all the new, got to get used to all the new colors and new schemes.
Cody Wyman on the 34.
Ivan Rivera runs a little bit wide in turn 6. But
yeah, it is. Cody Wyman, the 34, on that Alpha Omega.
Max Van in 2nd.
Ninja 400. Jason, this field dominated by Kawasaki Ninja 400s. Every motorcycle in the class, every rider on this class on a Kawasaki Ninja 400. Down the long back straightaway they go. And who's that, number 83?
83, so we saw Rivera get a little wide up in turn 6 early. And then it looks like maybe he crashed in turn 7 as we have a change for the lead. Max Van now goes to the front over Wyman. And as you say, Greg, Levy Batty there slots himself into 3rd. A young man that we haven't ever really met or got to see before. I know you went down to the pit there earlier. And we got Lemandry Jr., who we've seen obviously running there in 4th with Gus Rodeo. Yakov is there at 31. So she's got herself in this lead group as well.
Wyman up the inside, going to use all the racetrack. Batty trying to find a tighter line up the inside. It's what we expect to see in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Tight racing like this. But Jay, early on, this is quite a pack of riders all bunched up, battling for the #1 spot.
Yeah, when you look, we have 11 laps of this, and these guys and lady, obviously with Kayla there, they're going to just start the process of trying to see tendencies of each one of these riders. You can see Cody Wyman kind of takes it back to the front. Cody, obviously, one of the riders that we spoke about earlier, Greg, that has won a Junior Cup race. I believe this is his last year of eligibility. He was shopping around looking for some other opportunities in the paddock to maybe go ride different classes and things, but ended up coming back here. Obviously, Dad's helping him a lot. And now you can see Max Van. Look at how close these guys are to the white line down that back straightaway. Max Van gets a double draft and will slingshot past both these guys as they head down the hill to turn 10.
And Jason, talking to Max Van, he said this was his first front row start ever. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe this is the first time he's ever led laps in the Junior Cup class. He said he's been working really hard this offseason. He lost 24 pounds, so he feels a lot better on the bike. You know, as far as setup goes, just some dampening and preload to help the bike finish the corners better, but he's hoping to be there at the end of the race. He just wants to be aggressive throughout the race in order to make it there.
And Hannah, we've seen Max Van run up front in the past before as Levy Batty takes the lead now, but we've seen it, and that's a lot of pounds to lose. So obviously he got really serious about his racing coming into this season, and you can see what it does for him. It's propelling him up the front. When you get to the track, Greg, and you feel better about yourself, and you feel fit, and you don't feel like anything can hold you back. Maybe in the past he's been up front before, and maybe just not felt like he's had the physical ability to continue to push, and now he's going to be feeling a lot better on the motorcycle.
So for the 71, Levy Batty leading the way. The Belgian, the first Belgian to race here in MotoAmerica, and goes down. So the 2019 Yamaha 125 Cup champion of Belgium crashes out of this race. So Levy Batty, who had a great couple of laps premiering here in MotoAmerica, down and out.
Did he get up on the curbing, Greg? It looked like he got up on that curbing maybe a little bit, and that caused the front to tuck up underneath him. And look at what it's done now. Kayla Yakov, she is right in this battle. Have had a chance to see her quite a bit, obviously, during the winter as well. And here we go, Greg. Here's a replay. Look at 71. I'm just looking to see. No, he doesn't. He just loses the front. So I thought maybe he'd got up on that curbing and he just wasn't able to save that one.
6 riders all battling for the lead. Wyman takes over the spot into turn 10A, 10B. Then you have Max Van, who's in the mix. Joe Lemandry Jr. as well. Kayla Yakov in the mix. And Gus Rodeo, who we talked about at the top of the show, slotted in there in a good position, currently in 5th spot. Onto the front straightaway they go. All right, so there's Rodeo, number 96, with those eyeballs staring at you. 62 is Lamandry Jr.
Hayden Bickney's right there also, number 69, just on the back of Gus Rodeo right now. And you can see, Greg, see all that black lines? That's going to be from our Superbikes and Supersport competitors. It's a lot tighter run up that hill for those bikes. These bikes are trying to carry as much rolling momentum as they can going through turn 1. That's why you see them running so wide up that hill.
Less than 8 laps to go in this one. It's tight up front. 34 Wyman. 48 Max Van. 62 is Joe Lamandry Jr. 31 Kayla Yakov. Yakov's trying to stay in tow as it looks like Gus Rodeo may have lost a little bit of time, but it's his back straightaway that bunches them all up. Another change up front through turn number 6 onto the all-important turn 7 and drag race down the back straightaway. A couple of SportbikeTrackGear.com sponsored riders leading the way in this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class. Using all the width of the racetrack, you have a couple groups that are forming to try to draft. Yakov decides that she's done with Cody Wyman's draft, trying to find other bikes to draft.
Yeah, when you see the 2 other guys going a little bit quicker, you change that over. Kayla's going to do the big out-braking move down into turn 10, and she is going to be leading. So she played that draft absolutely perfect. And for Kayla, we saw her do so well at Barber last year, get on the podium, but she's ready, Greg, this year. I have had some really great conversations.
Here she comes under fire.
Yep.
So Yakov gets past, and Yakov in 2nd spot. But that was a nice block pass, actually, Jay, and really just kind of messed up the drive that Yakov had, but still she's holding on to 2nd place. Hannah?
Kayla told me she's really seen herself grow as a rider. She's made a huge progress during the off-season, and with Altus, testing time has allowed her to get really comfortable on the bike. You know, she said she wanted to make some smart moves, especially toward the end of the race, and pick up where she left off last season. This will be her first full season in MotoAmerica this year. She only turned 14 at the Ridge last season, so she's really looking forward to growing even more. She's still only 14. I believe she's the youngest in the field.
When she talks to you too, Greg, it's funny because she's so far ahead in years as actually what she is. And you can see Max Van just got a nice little run on her down that hill and was able to just sneak it up underneath her. And that just slowed that momentum of the 31 up a little to where she couldn't get off that corner as well as she would have liked. And look at everybody just fishing for the draft there. And it looks like Gus Rodeo now has got himself up into 4th.
So Max Van leading the way for the moment, but here comes Cody Wyman and Kayla Yakov in 3rd. Everybody fighting for position as they head down into turn number 10. Here they come down into turn 10. Who's going to outbrake? Yakov's got a good position, showing that she's a powerhouse under braking.
Absolutely.
A nice move by the 31. Kayla Yakov on that Altus Motorsports Kawasaki Ninja 400. Now this is where she left herself open. Here comes Cody Wyman up the inside. No, so a better line this time for Yakov, and she's going to lead us over the line and be credited with leading lap number 7. Good job.
Cody moves over to the left, Max Van to the right. They're able to split Kayla on either side there as they come down that front straightaway. Now, yeah, it looks like Lamandry is trying to get by as well. Did he get by? He did.
He did.
So he's got himself up into 3rd now.
But boy, as the laps wind down, Yakov knows that she's got the move. If she can lead into turn 10A, she can lead all the way to start-finish line. So that's a great thing that she has in her back pocket.
She's kind of already shown us that she's going to be the one to beat down into turn 10, isn't she? And that's, like you say, having that in your back pocket is great. And she's going to get a triple bike draft when they come out of turn 7 here in a minute and get on that back straightaway. Now, one of the funny things here that we see in Junior Cup is Gus Rodeo. Gus Rodeo, you know, a couple years ago, Greg, it's amazing how much he's grown now. That white helmet that you see there in 5th place used to be well and truly in behind that bubble on these small bikes. But these riders, as they get a little bit older, they get a little bit bigger. Before, when he was the guy making all these big draft passes, it looks like it's a little bit harder for him to do that now.
The back straightaway working their way to close to 120 miles an hour on Kawasaki Ninja 400s. Down into turn 10A. Who's going to take the lead? It looks like it's going to be up the inside. Max Van takes over as we have an incredibly tight race with about 5 laps to go. Down into the final corner we go, Jason, and it is the 48 of Max Van who's leading.
Hey, let's give Avery Dreyer a big shout out. Number 99, doing a really nice job. Had been back there in that 7th place, holding on to the leaders. And now look at him on the Bad Boys Racing Ninja 400. He moved himself up into 5th briefly. I think when he went down into the last corner there, he may have ran just a little bit wide, lost some of his momentum on that front straightaway, but Avery is trying really hard to get himself clawing his way up into that podium position. You can see him now. He's back at the back of that pack, but he had made some keen moves down into turn 10 and turn 12 to get himself up into that top 5. But now he just finds himself a little bit further back again.
All right, Jason, we've had enough laps sorted out. What do you think is the best position for any of these SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup riders to be in as they come off the back straightaway?
Well, unless Gus isn't showing his hand, I haven't been able to see him draft up to that front. Kayla, we have been able to see do that. And with her braking abilities into turn 4, if this was, or into turn 10, if this was the last lap, I would think that the 31 would be in the perfect spot. Look at Avery Dreyer. Again, he was able to get by Bickney's and Gus Rodeo as they come out of turn 7. But they are able to go back past him. So this is where Kayla now, she's got a double draft brake. She's going to go past these guys. So if this would have been the last lap, I'd say her spot there in 4th place coming onto the back straightaway is really a positive spot for her to be in, because there's not, I haven't seen anybody been able to outbrake her down into turn 10.
No, and
either.
She's got great positioning into turn 10A as well.
Yep.
So it's going to take someone to steal her line because she's very comfortable with breaking down into 10A mid-track. And this is the section as well where she came under fire, lost the lead a couple laps ago, but was able to hold on to it. So it looks like for Kayla Yakov, she's going to be credited with another lap led in this one. As you can see, pit boards all around giving signals. So Yakov loses the lead for the moment.
Is that Lemandry Jr. now that's taking it to the front? So Lemandry Jr., another young man who we've touted pretty heavily here. We've seen him on the podium quite a bit from up in the northeast area.
Ooh, that got tight.
How tight it gets in there?
Yeah, it got tight between Yakov and Cody Wyman for a moment there.
Cody, though, being kind of the veteran of the class, obviously he's going to be smart. He wants to play it out to the end and be there all the way to the end. As you can see, Cody having a look as they come down through the S's in turn 5. So we've got Lemandry Jr., Max Van going 1-2 right now. Yakov and Cody Wyman with Gus Rodeo. Again, Greg, I just haven't seen that burst of speed that he needs down the back straightaway and their ability to draft past these guys.
Fastest lap of the race, credited with the 31 on the Altus Motorsports Ninja, Kayla Yakov. Currently in 3rd place, and another run towards 120 miles an hour on these lightweight displacement motorcycles. Yeah, it looks like
Avery's just dropping back a little bit, isn't it? Doesn't look like Avery's got the bike underneath him, truthfully, on some of the straights. He's able to do stuff with these guys when they were in the turns, and Cody Wyman goes from 4th to the lead, Greg. So let's see if he holds it as they come down here. Gus Rodeo gets himself in there right up alongside Yakov, but he's still 5th. But Gus Rodeo now starting to test his waters to see if he's going to be able to do anything with all them at the end of that back straightaway.
That created a little bit of a gap to Yakov. Now a couple of bike lengths. But Jay, it looks like when we get to the top of the hill, this turn 2 area, turn 2 towards the S's, is where Yakov has been struggling ever so slightly. It's where she's left herself open. So the question is, does she have something in the tank to close up this gap? Because it's really started to form now, and the top 3 are starting to get away. Cody Wyman leads on the 34. That's that Alpha Omega motorcycle. And then it's back to Lemandry and Max Van.
Yeah, and you're right, Greg. That gap has opened up a little bit.
Yeah, and that was created down there in the turn 10A area when she nearly got together with Gus Rodeo. So they're going to need the back straightaway in order to close this gap if there's a chance that there's going to be 7 to the checkered flag to decide this race with about 2.5 laps to go in this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 1.
Cody Wyman now credited with the fastest lap of the race at a 43 flat on this last lap. So Cody's got his head down. He's trying to get away. And Greg, look at that. We actually see a little bit of gap between first and second, and I can't tell you what a charge of confidence it will give Cody if he gets down this back straightaway without being drafted and gets into turn 10. We haven't been able to see anybody do that yet. Gus Rodeo now up alongside, as well as Bickney's now going to the inside of both Yakov. And look at her, Greg. She turns it back up underneath and goes right back on the brakes.
Wow. So Yakov demon on the brakes down into turn 10. And she's trying to tell the competitors behind her, stop messing around. We're losing the gap. Just follow me.
Hey, big props, Cody Wyman. He led down the back straightaway, got through turns 10 and 11 quicker than everybody else. Pulls that little bit of a gap, Greg. 2 to go. Cody Wyman goes 42.6. Pushed his own wind as well.
Incredible.
So, yeah, so what he's got to do now, Cody's going to have to carry all this speed, get through these little S's at the top of the hill as clean as you can. And really, at that point, he might have broken these guys as far as the draft goes. Now, that said, 42.7 for Max Van, so it was only like a tenth of a second between those two guys.
Well, Jay, last time by the stripe, Cody Wyman, Van, Lemandry, Yakov, Bickney's, Rodeo, and even Avery Dreyer all set their fastest laps of the race. And this is what we do see in Junior Cup. As riders get more track time, more comfortable, utilize the draft, get used to it, they start to set fastest laps deep in the race.
I feel like Kayla right now, if she gets into 6 here fairly nicely, she's close enough again, don't you reckon?
Yeah.
As far as being able to catch it and get into that double bike draft for the two in front of her, Lemandry and Max Van, she's there now. She's going to be able to get the draft of those other two. Gus Rodeo right now is the one that's in a little bit of trouble as far as is he going to be able to get in the draft of all 3 of those bikes, but she should be close to these guys as they get down to turn 10 as they're still trying to draft Cody Wyman.
Well, it doesn't look like she's got the draft this time around, but as we head to the last lap of this race, Yakov has got some distance to make up if she's going to be interested in a podium.
She did, though. She's made up that distance again going down into turn 10. How about this? Gus Rodeo, fastest sector 1 at the whole race that last lap. So the 96 clawing his way back in, but now really that battle for second could end up slowing themselves down as far as not being able to get up to Cody Wyman. That's 2 laps in a row. Cody Wyman has led across the stripe, and he's going to see that on his board. He's probably still got +0 on there. Dad's doing the board, probably got +0. Look at Kayla Yakov looking up the inside.
She's got to try to use all that racetrack to try to drive up the hill. Didn't even need it that time. Was just sweeping through. So now to the top of the hill. Wyman has got a good lead at this point. Yakov gets shuffled back to 4th.
Another 42.6 too, by the way, for him. So for Cody Wyman, he's ran, how about 41.9 for Gus Rodeo? 41.9, Greg. I mean, he's over half a second quicker than the next rider in the race.
But it might be too little too late for the 96. As one of our 2 race winners, of course, is Gus Rodeo as well as Cody Wyman. Wyman looking for another one. But how about the 48 of Max Van? Can he close the gap on Wyman? It's going to be difficult. Oh, and it's just really not close enough in 7 to catch that draft. But Van onto the back straightaway. Cody Wyman tight behind the bubble. And for Max Van, though, did he break the draft of Lemandry? Is Lemandry going to come under fire from Yakov? This is where Junior Cup gets so difficult. You got to look and think in front of you and behind you at the same time on this final lap.
And here comes Gus Rodeo as he goes up on the inside of Yakov as they head down into turn 10. She's just going to let it go, let the brake go, and go right back by him. Greg loses the front over the bumps, does Kayla. She channels it and gets it all back. Cody Wyman, though, has made that break.
So here comes Wyman down the hill into the final corner, onto the front straightaway. He keeps it tighty, and so Cody Wyman's going to stretch it to the line and win this one. And teammates battling, and it's going to be Max Van who holds on to 2nd place over Lemandry Jr. as Wyman wins it. Yakov in 4th, Gus Rodeo in 5th, Bickney's and Avery Dreyer. Cody Wyman, a 42.3 on the last lap. And for Max Van and Lemandry Jr., their fastest laps of the race.
You called it, though. How about those last 3 laps? 42.6 and then a 42.3 on his final. That's about as perfect a lap as you can run, especially when you don't have any drafting partners.
Unbelievable. Cody Wyman digs deep, gets it done in typical SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup racing. We're going to hear from the guy who won the race when we return.
It works out for the Alpha Omega Kawasaki for Cody Wyman. I'm Robbie Floyd with Roger Hayden. Our little brief interlude before we send it back over next door. And Roger, I talked to Cody yesterday. I'm like, dude, I can't believe you didn't test out the draft with a group of people. You never see runaways, and we didn't see one, but he was able to break the draft at that very end, and it paid off.
Yeah, and also it kind of looked like the guys behind him those last couple laps were shuffling positions a lot, and I think that kind of stalled him out a little bit. So, but for him, you know, just putting those consistent laps in toward the end, and that's what it took, his last lap, being a low 42 without a draft. You know, we seen it yesterday in practice. He was, I mean, remember how many laps in a row he did in the 42, so definitely.
Yeah.
I felt like he was the guy to beat today.
And you saw Kayla Yakov saying, like, hey, get behind me, let's get in line and don't fight each other. Well, I mean, either way, none of that group was able to get up there with Cody Wyman once again, but she was kind of right, wasn't she? I think that they took themselves out of it. Two teammates, Max Van and Joel Manor, they were playing nice with each other, but battling back and forth cost them a chance of the win.
And especially on the Junior Cup bikes like that, whenever you pass each other on the brakes every lap in turn 10 and you run a little bit wide, they don't really have the horsepower to correct that whenever you slow down mid-corner like that. So, I mean, every little bit adds up there, because if you're a little bit closer, you're going to be able to feel that draft, and it's going to, you know, close that group back up.
Kayla Yakov's not afraid to run it in on the inside, is she? I mean, just like she does in the wet, she's starting to do now more on the dry.
And just on the brakes, she's so strong on the brakes in the turn 10, and, you know, first part of the track, she struggled a little bit, but also Gus Rodeo was 41.9. I mean, if he could find that pace a couple laps sooner, he would have put himself in contention for the win.
He was kind of in that big group, but it didn't look like he was pushing as hard until the end. But, yeah, we hadn't seen a 41.9 before, so very big surprise. Max Van there. Congratulations, SportbikeTrackGear.com. Teammates Lamandry and the 48 pulling in now, and Joe and Max together on the podium. They wish they were up 2 more spots. Max had a shot there at the end. I really thought he could have done it. He was very consistent early on last year, was kind of being patient. He was patient today, and this is his first podium, I believe.
And it's going to be a good feeling, you know, get that first podium. Now that his goal will try to get that first win, and he's right there. Just needs to find a little bit more for the whole race, but it has to be a good feeling for him and, you know, his family. They've put a lot into him the last couple years, and get that podium.
We saw Joe Lamandry 2 years ago on the podium. I believe it was a second place at New Jersey. Then last year we saw it at Pittsburgh. Joe Lamandry back on the box here in the 3rd spot. But again, great job by the SportbikeTrackGear.com juniors. Cody Wyman taking the victory. Another one for him.
Great job, Joe. You guys got my sunglasses too? Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Joey, nice job, baby. Thank you.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Well, in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class, this is a checkout. 0.6 of a second for Cody Wyman over Max Van Joseph Lamandry Jr., just a 10th behind him. And then that battle between Yakov, Rodeo, Pickney's, and Dreyer. No love lost, by the way, between Yakov and Rodeo. But let's get to Hannah, who has our race winner, Cody Wyman, after a nice one.
It's the second victory of his career and the first this season for Cody Wyman. Cody, with 3 laps to go, you started to pull away from the rest of the field. What was it that gave you the confidence to do that, to secure this victory?
Yeah, honestly, I thought the pace was, race pace was a little bit slower than we qualified. I knew it would be a big battle. I saw Kyle run across the pit lane and give me a big gap, so I knew I had to go. Big thanks to Alpha Omega, Helmet House, Cortex, Shoei Helmets, Harpside Davidson, Madden Painting, Evil Technologies, K-Tech, Quarterly, Spears Racing, everyone who's got me here. This is a good little redemption from having to end last season for injury, so it's a good way to start the year.
Congratulations, our STG Junior Cup race winner, Cody Wyman.
Great redemption for Cody Wyman after the way last season ended for him. And right now, he's emerging as the star of the class.
Well, he's kind of in the spot that you would expect him to be. You know, he's got a lot of experience, and he's got a lot of experience over these young guys. And for Cody to win, that's a big win for him to start the year.
Let's get back down to Hannah.
Second place today goes to Max Van. Max, a lot of drafting, a lot of passes being exchanged out there. What was working so well for you that you were able to keep the rest of the field behind you at the end?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank everybody that's bossed up something from SportbikeTrackGear.com throughout the past 16 years. That's why I'm out here doing what I love. But I mean, the race went great. I ended up making a couple of mistakes at the last 3 laps that caused Cody to get a gap. But I mean, it was a good race, and I'm ready for tomorrow.
Congratulations, Max Van. Guys.
All right, so for Max Van, of course, the namesake for SportbikeTrackGear.com is the title sponsor, the title of this class. And of course, Jason, it's always good when you beat your teammate too, isn't it?
Well, yeah, those guys can go back, but they might be able to go back and talk about what they could have done different and that kind of thing. And for Lamandry, we've seen him on the podium. But Max Van, I think it's great. Just the report that Hannah gave shows how committed he is to his racing, and he'll win a race this year.
Back down to victory lane.
Third place today goes to Joseph Lamandry Jr. Again, a lot of drafting, a lot of passing. Were you able to work with your teammate at all in order for both of you to secure podium finishes today?
Well, before I start, I got to give a huge thank you to my SportbikeTrackGear, Boss Racing, CyberSafe Solutions team. They really got me here, and the bike worked amazing. I felt great, and definitely being teammates with Max Van helped. We were working the draft all race, and on the last laps, I made a couple mistakes like he did, and I couldn't get where I finished, but I'll take a 3rd place for now. So once again, huge thank you. Thank you to everyone coming out, and I'm excited for tomorrow.
Rounding out our STG Junior Cup podium. Greg?
Yeah, it's a great job.
Well,
I mean, I love seeing this guy in the series.
Well, besides that, we've only seen him like last year. He only did a partial schedule.
Right.
So it looks like this is going to be more of a full-time deal for him this year, and he will be right there in the hunt for the champ. I'm really looking forward to the championship this year. It could really be one of 5 or 6 different people. So this kid's going to throw his name in that hat for sure.
All right, Bazooka Joe in the mix and on the podium. Here's your points. The way we scored in MotoAmerica: 25 for a win, 20 for second, 16. And as we get to 5th place, we start paying a single point all the way down to 15. So Cody Wyman heading into tomorrow's race enjoys a 5-point lead. But what's going to happen? It came down to the wire. Can Cody repeat? We look forward to seeing you when we race again.